guys, we are back with another song by Eminem, and I think we might be starting the next album today.
Yes.
So what are we doing?
So yes, we're starting Encore,
Okay.
which starts with a skit called Curtains Up, and then we're gonna go into the first song, which is Evil Deeds.
I don't think I know it.
I wouldn't be surprised if you don't, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Right.
Interesting.
Check
And
it out.
don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all social media channels. The links are in the description below, and username is right here.
Okay.
It's the roll. Yo, is the mic on? Check, check, check. Alright, let's go. Let's go, come on.
All right.
Are you just chanting Eminem?
Think so. I was not paying attention to what they were saying.
It
That's a
sounds
good
like Eminem,
question.
but it was like weirdly. I guess it was.
So I have the lyrics. Oh, not for this. I have the lyrics for the song on my phone because these lyric videos are never that good. I could see. I think they were
And you
saying
go
it.
sing Eminem.
I think so too. So I will make note that yeah, it is
Yeah.
Eminem. So this album is called Encore. The last album we did was the Eminem Show, and it had similar imagery of him on a stage with the curtains.
Yeah.
So this is Encore. So this came out 2 years later, two or three, whatever. This is 2004, this album.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, this was peak drug use. This is technically his last album before he got clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was he using for all three?
Yeah, but I don't know when he was addicted. You know what I mean? At
Okay.
what point? So we'll see. So yes, the next song is Evil Deeds.
Lord, please forgive me for what I do. For I know not what I've done. Father, please forgive me for I know not what I do. I just never had the chance to ever meet you. Therefore I did not know that I would grow to be my mother's evil seed and do these evil deeds. Mama had a baby and its head popped off. 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 Well, mama don't want me. The next thing I know, I'm getting dropped off. 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 Ring, ring, ring on the doorbell, and the next door neighbors on their front porch. 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 But they didn't want me neither, so they left me on someone else's lawn. Else's lawn. Else's lawn. Else's lawn. Till somebody finally took me in. My great aunt and uncle Edna and Charles. 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 They were the ones who were left in charge. My elementary, they gang up on me and sang this song. 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 It went a little something like Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Gabby had a Satan spawn, Satan spawn. Mama, why do they keep saying this? I just don't understand. Understanding by the way, where's my dad? Father, please forgive me for I know not what I do. I just never had the chance to ever meet you. Therefore I did not know that I would grow to be my mother's evil seed and do these evil deeds.
Okay. So you've never heard this, right?
No, you've played this before.
Oh, you do recognize it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I never like listened to it, but
That's
I
fine.
recognize it.
Yeah. So we played them as separate songs, but when you listen to the album, the curtains opening, that skit that we listened to first goes like directly into this. And actually at the first like half second of the song, you hear the same sound that ended off on the other. And then
Okay.
actually into the next track too, you can kind of hear it. It goes, the end of this picks right up into the next one. You know what I mean?
You look at hair
Yeah.
on my lip. I got it.
So he says, Lord, please forgive me for what I do, for I know not what I've done. So that he's just speaking. And then he sings the hook, which is, Father, please forgive me for I know not what I do. I just never had the chance to ever meet you.
So it's like a double entendre then.
Yes. So like,
Okay.
Father, please forgive me, like God. And then Father, his father,
Dad.
earthly, father.
Earthly father.
So I never had the chance to meet you. Then he said, Therefore I did not know that I would grow to be my mother's evil seed and do these evil deeds.
Ooh.
Yes. So the mama had a baby and its head popped off. Head popped off. Head popped off.
Like, wow.
So do you know? So I wasn't familiar with it. It's like a children's nursery rhyme. It was like if you would pick up like dandelions, the ones that like you could blow.
Yeah.
So apparently back in the day, it was a thing you would pick it up and it'd be like, Mama had a baby and her head popped off, and you'd blow the thing and the head would disappear. So it was like an old school nursery rhyme, which is what he's playing on. Which
So weird.
I never heard it either. Till
Such a strange nursery.
yeah, no. Some of them are really dark.
Yeah, like Ring Around the Rosies about the plague.
Yeah. So, and then he says, My mama didn't want me. The next thing I know, I'm getting dropped off. Getting dropped off, getting dropped off. Obviously repeating himself. So he was born. His head popped off because he lost his mind.
Okay.
And then his mom didn't want him, so she dropped him off. It says ring, ring, ring on the doorbell, and the next door neighbors on their front porch. Their front porch. So the mom dropped him off on the neighbor's front porch. Then it says, but they didn't want me neither, so they left me on someone else's lawn, else's lawn, till somebody finally took me in. So the mom dropped him off at the neighbors. They didn't want it, so they put him on somebody else's
putting
lawn.
him in someone else's
Yes.
front of their house.
And then somebody finally took him in, which was my great aunt and uncle, Edna and Charles. Edna and Charles.
So what? It just kept like passing people's front lawns until it finally managed to be in front of his aunt and uncle's.
No, so it sounds like they finally said they'll take him
Yeah.
in. Yeah. And then it says they were the ones who were left in charge. In my elementary, they ganged up on me and sang the song.
It's funny.
So
he wrote this like way after.
Yeah, so when I first heard this, I was like, this is weird how he's repeating everything. But for me, I've heard it so many times, it gets just, like stuck in my head, the repeating,
Yeah.
Yeah, so great aunt and uncle finally took him in. And then in elementary, I'm guessing school or just his elementary days, they would,
I'm thinking school,
Yeah.
like the elementary other kids at school.
yeah. And he says, it went a little something like, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Debbie had a Satan spawn, Satan spawn. Mama, why do they keep saying this? I just don't understand. Understand. And by the way, where's my dad? So, very recently, I was telling you how Mary had a little lamb. I had no idea that that was a reference to Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I'd never picked up on it. I just thought it was a regular nursery rhyme. But, Jesus is referred to as the Lamb of God. So,
yeah, no, I know that.
and then Mary was the mother.
The
So,
Lamb of God.
yeah. So Mary had a little lamb, like the nursery rhyme, but then Debbie had a Satan spawn. So it's Jesus, Satan,
Okay.
Yeah. And then he says, Mama, why do they keep saying this? I just don't understand. And by the way, where's my dad? So he's like, yeah, why are they calling me Satan spawn? And also, where's my dad? Which is actually really sad.
Yeah.
All right. And then we heard the chorus, which we already went through,
Mhm.
and we'll pick up with the next verse.
Others evil seed and do these evil deeds. Predominantly, everything's always predominantly white, predominantly black. Well, what about me? Where does that leave me? Well, I guess that I'm between predominantly both of them. I think if I hear that fucking word again, I'ma scream while I'm projectile vomiting. What do I look like? A comedian to you? Do you think that I'm kidding? What do I look like? Some kind of idiot? Wait a minute, shit, don't answer that. Why am I so misunderstood? Why do I go through so much bullshit? It's such bullshit, it's touch more bitch. Woe is me. There goes poor Marshall again, whining about his millions and his mansion and his song he's always drowning in. And the dad that he never had, and how his child was so bad, and how his mom was a dope addict, and his ex-wife, how they go at it. Man, I'd hate to have it, as bad as that Mr. Mathis claims he had it. I can't imagine it. That little rich poor white bastard needs to take some of that cash out of the bank and take a bath in it. Man, if I only had half of it. Shit, if you only knew the half of it. Father, please forgive me, for I know not what I do. I just never had the chance to ever meet you. Therefore I did not know that I would grow to be my mother's evil seed and do these evil deeds.
Okay. So, second verse. He starts off predominantly, everything's always predominantly white, predominantly black. But what about me? Where does that leave me? Well, I guess that I'm between predominantly both of them. I think if I hear the fucking word again, I'm gonna scream. So obviously, it's a reference to him being white, growing up in a black neighborhood, being in a
Yeah.
black industry, and he's like, "So, am I white? Am I black? You know?" Because so he was getting shit from both sides. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So white people were like, "What are you doing? You know, like you need to stop
Yeah.
acting like you're black." You know, and then some
Yeah, that was
black
like a big
people.
thing back then.
Yeah, and some black people would say the same thing to him, like, "You, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Who do you think you are? What are you doing?" You know what I mean? So he's saying it drives him crazy. And then he's, if I think I hear the fucking word again, I'm gonna scream.
Yeah, like he just wants to be like himself and do what he's doing and not feel like he has to like fit into some box that he
Yeah,
doesn't fit in.
exactly. He said, I'm a scream while I'm projectile vomiting. What do I look like? A comedian to you? Do you think that I'm kidding? What do I look like? Some kind of idiot? So he's about to say idiot, and then he
Yeah.
cuts himself off and he says, wait a minute, shit, don't answer that. Why am I so misunderstood? Why do I go through so much bullshit? It's such bullshit. It's tushmal bish. So he says, why am I so misunderstood? And then he says, I go through so much bullshit. It's such bullshit. It's tushmal bish.
So he's saying
So
that like you can't even understand him.
yeah, it's a what's the word? Um, anagram, acronym. I'm blanking for anagram, right? When you take the letters and mix them up and it spells something else. You know
Uh,
what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
So whatever it is, though, that's like if you look at tushmal bish, it's the exact letters of bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the exact ones. No duplicates, no
They
extras.
just spelled it wrong then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, it's not. But then again, it's whoever typed this. There's no C in bullshit.
yeah. So yeah, so he's saying he purposely said it like that. It's like people misunderstand him. You know, that's what they hear when he says bullshit, which is actually pretty clever. It used to bother me because I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? I thought he was just making stuff up,
Yeah.
which he technically is just making stuff up, but there's something to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a meaning.
Yeah. And then he says, woe is me. There goes poor Marshall again, whining about his millions and his mansion and his sorrow he's always drowning in from the dad he never had, and how his childhood was so bad, and how his mom was a dope addict, and his ex-wife, how they go at it. So he's making fun
Of himself.
of himself, acknowledging these are the things he talks about, and these are the critiques that he gets from people.
Well, yeah, because like it's bound to piss some people off where they're like, oh my God, you're
Yeah,
like a big star now. You have so much
and
money. You're still
complaining
complaining
about
of
your
the same
past.
things that you were.
Yeah,
But like those things don't go away.
no, of course not. And then it continues, man, so there's supposed to be like for when you're listening to the song from where it says there goes poor Marshall, it would be in quotes. So he's imitating someone critiquing him.
Um,
So quotes from there goes poor Marshall all the way until this is still it. So it says, man, I'd hate to have it as bad as that Mr. Mathers claims he had it. So claims he had it.
mhm.
People are saying, oh, maybe it's not as bad as he's claiming it
Yeah.
was. And then I can't imagine it. That little rich poor white bastard needs to take some of that cash out the bank and take a bath in it. Man, if I and then so that's where the quotation mark would end. That's where he stops, imitating somebody that's
Yeah.
critiquing him. Says, man, if I only had half of it, shit, if you only knew the half of it. So I guess he's saying if I only had half of the money that people think he has in the bank, you
Yeah,
know what I
because
mean?
like the record labels and all those things take the money, and I'm sure that like just a whole bunch of other things he is going on takes the money.
Yeah. And then he says, shit, if you only knew half of it. So if you only knew the full story of everything, so I do find this part interesting where so he is, by even putting it in a song, he's acknowledging the critique that people say you're just rapping about the same shit over and over and you're
Yeah.
complaining and you're whining. But at the same time, it's like he's saying, like, this is my life. This is really what I deal with and I've experienced. And it's like, that doesn't change anything just because I have money.
Yeah.
So he said, I can't, that little rich, so they're shitting on him because he's rich, and then poor white bastard. So rich and poor next to each other, obviously opposite, but it's a
Yeah.
play on he's rich and oh, poor him, and then white. So that's another thing. It's like, oh, fuck you, you're white. You don't have to deal with as much shit as other people in America. You know what I mean? So he's like acknowledging all the critiques he's getting. And then we went right back into the same chorus that we went through. And then there is another verse. Let's go.
Seed and do these evil deeds. Evil deeds, while I plant these evil seeds. Please release me from these demons. I never had any of this shit planned, Mom, please believe. I don't wanna be Satan's spawn. Never got the chance to say I'm sorry. Now look at all the pain I caused. Dear Santa Claus, why you not coming this year again? What did I do that was so bad to deserve this? Everything could have been so perfect, but life ain't a fairy tale. I'm about to be hoisted up in the air. 40 feet below me, there's people everywhere. I don't even know but I feel like they know me, cause I'm in this Ferris wheel. And all I wanna do is go to the mall and take Haley on the carousel. Without this crowd everywhere I go, but life is like a merry-go-round. Here we go, now do-si-do, now curtains up, the show must go. Now ring around the rosy, the show's over, you can all go home now. With the curtain just don't close for me, this ain't how fame is supposed to be. Where's the switch I can just turn off and on? This ain't what I chose to be, so please God give me the strength to have what it takes to carry on. Till I pass 50 back the baton, the camera's on, my soul is gone. Father, please forgive me, for I know not what I do. I just never had the chance to ever meet you. Therefore I did not know that I would grow to be my mother's evil seed and do these evil deeds. Father, please forgive me, for I know not what I do. I just never had the chance to ever meet you. Therefore I did not know that I would grow to be my mother's evil seed and do these evil deeds.
Last one, baby. Let's go. Last one, baby. Let's go. Detroit!
Okay, so I purposely played that because it was kind of important.
My mother's evil seed and do these
Sorry. After the song finished, you heard him walking on stage, and he's like,
end of the curtain
and
thing.
he's like, this is it, one more time, and you hear him cock a gun.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Oh, really?
No, I thought that was the curtain rolling.
No, so you hear that, and then he's like, that's it, one more time. He cocks the gun, and then he walks out on stage. So it's important for later in the album. And then, as I mentioned, the curtain, the intro skit leads right into this song.
Yeah.
Again, when you're listening to the album, the end of this song leads directly into the next one too. It's like the same sound. All right. Let's go through this third and final verse. So he says, evil deeds, while I plant these evil seeds, please release me from these demons. I never had any of this shit planned, Mom. Please believe. I don't want to be Satan's spawn. Never got the chance to say I'm sorry. So, again, he's saying he does all these evil deeds and he plants these seeds in people's minds. And he's saying, please release me from these demons. I never planned. So he never planned on having all this fame and success. And he talks about it a lot more in the rest of this verse. I don't want to be Satan's spawn. I never got the chance to say I'm sorry. He says, now look at all the pain I've caused. Dear Santa Claus, why are you not coming this year again? What did I know. He says, what did I do that was so bad to deserve this? Everything could have been so perfect. And then he says, but life ain't a fairy tale. I'm about to be hoisted up in the air, 40 feet below me. There's people everywhere. I don't know why they feel like they know me because I'm in this Ferris wheel and all I want to do is go to the mall and take Haley on the carousel. So, yeah, so he's painting this image of his superstardom and he's being hoisted in the air and everybody's below him and he's equating the Ferris wheel. So, obviously, like it's an endless cycle, you know what I mean? It's taking him up and down. And he's saying, I don't even know why they feel like they know me. He's like, people don't really know me. They see like my public persona and shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's on this Ferris wheel, so it's like this crazy like ride. And he says all he wants to be able to do is take Haley to the mall and go on the carousel, but he can't because he's so famous and, everybody knows him.
Yeah.
And then without this crowd everywhere I go, but life is like a merry-go-round. Here we go now, do-si-do now, curtains up, the show must go. Now ring around the rosy, the show's over, you can all go home now. But the curtain just don't close for me. This ain't how fame is supposed to be.
And that was like the song Square Dance that we went
The
over.
do-si-do,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, we left off in the last part. He wants to be able to take Haley to the mall and go on the carousel
Mhm.
without this crowd everywhere. But life is like a merry-go-round. So it's funny. He did Ferris wheel, carousel, merry-go-round, and then he does "Here we go now, do-si-do, curtains up, the show must go." And it says "Now ring around the rosy." So
Mhm.
again, that's another allusion to nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, "That's it. The show's over. You can all go home." But the curtain just doesn't close for me. So he finishes his shows and he wants to go and be a normal person like everybody else.
Yeah.
But the curtain
But
never
he,
closes. It's constantly a show. He's constantly on display. The public is constantly viewing him and wanting to engage.
it's rough.
Yeah. And then he says this ain't how fame is supposed to be.
It kind of is, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Maybe I feel like he just didn't. I mean, no one really realizes that until
And
they're actually famous.
yeah. And then he says, "Where's the switch I could just turn off and on? This ain't what I chose to be. So please, God, give me the strength to have what it takes to carry on till I pass 50 back the baton. The cameras are on, my soul is gone." So it's great. That's like very poetic, but so he wants to be able to turn off the switch on and
Yeah,
off
and
of
like just be
fame.
famous
He's
whenever
like,
he wants to.
yeah, because I mean, he always said, he always says in his music, like he never wanted to be famous. He just wanted to be a respected rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, And then he says, "This is not what I chose. God, give me the strength, what it takes to carry on till I pass 50, 50 Cent, because Eminem signed 50 Cent, till
Mhm.
I pass 50 back the baton." And he says, "The camera's on, my soul is gone." So that's like crazy imagery that this public persona and this life, being
Yeah.
in the public eye all the time, being so famous, he's lost his soul to the fame and the money and the
Yeah,
industry and all of
basically.
that. Yeah, which
And you
is,
just lose your whole life to it. Like,
yeah.
you have no, I mean, the only time you're really alone, I guess, is when you're like in the bathroom or alone in your house, I guess.
Yeah, and then
But even then, he probably has like a bunch of people who like work at his house, like chef, like cleaning crew.
yeah, so he talks about that a lot from here on out in his career till the present day. He talks about on this album, but he really feels bad for his daughter Haley that she
Yeah.
didn't decide to be a rapper. You know what I mean? Same thing with every famous person's child. Like they didn't make these decisions, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, they can't have a normal life.
Yeah, and their parents are always like gone.
Yeah. So, Evil Deeds. What are your thoughts?
So yeah, like I said, I've heard you play this song before. It's really good. The beat is really cool.
Yeah.
Um, the message is like very similar to like other messages in his music, where he's like talking about like how rough his childhood and young adult life was, and then not really wanting to be famous, not knowing how he got here, and like all that, which is
Yeah.
cool. Um, it's a good song.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of the songs on here, so I can't really give it a rating, but like I'll just say it's okay.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, I like this song. As I mentioned to you, so Encore is a bit of a controversial album, meaning some people really love it, some people hate it. You know, Eminem trashes this album himself. You
You
know,
guys like it?
and what his famous song, was it Not Afraid? I forget. One of the
That's a
songs,
big song.
and one of the songs he says, "My last two albums didn't count. Encore, I was on drugs. Relapse, I was flushing them out." So he's saying, he was really fucked up when he recorded this album. Then we get to
Okay.
Relapse, he's clean, but he's just getting clean. But anyway, so yes, he was very fucked up, peak fucking drug use while
Yeah.
recording, and there's some interesting shit on this album. I actually do like it.
Okay.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes. So we will
But yeah,
put,
I also like the callback to his older songs.
yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah.
But
All
yeah.
right.
All right. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, see ya.